We are just days away from the first preseason action for your Pittsburgh Steelers, and I've got 8 more winners and 4 more losers from Steelers training camp to share with you guys today. But before we get into it, we're going to have a live watch party here on the channel for that preseason game against the Buccaneers this Friday starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure you click that subscribe button and turn on your notifications because we're covering all 3 preseason games live here on the channel as well as all 17 regular season games. So if you want that one place to come hang with your Yenzers on game day this year, this is the spot for you. Click that subscribe button for me right now. And now let's get into my list of winners. I've got 8 new additions to my list here, starting with left tackle Dan Moore Jr., who's looking like he's starting to lock up the starting left tackle position to this point in camp. He's looking very, very good, especially in pass protection to this point in camp. He's had some very impressive reps, some very good showings in pads this year, which is very encouraging for this offensive line that did have its struggles last season. Right now, Dan Moore is expected to be that starting left tackle unless the rookie Broderick Jones can ascend up the ladder here in the coming weeks. But you add Isaac Seumalo to this offensive line here at left guard, then the rest of the positions are exactly the same, so you like to see that continuity there. Definitely hoping that this unit is a lot better than it was last year, and it can protect Kenny Pickett and create some run lanes for Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren in the run game. Then we get to Kwon Alexander, the newly signed inside linebacker for the black and gold. And Alexander has looked the part of a veteran pass coverage type linebacker. He's actually been very impressive in run defense as well. And he's already climbing up the Steelers linebacker depth chart. Right now, he's the first guy off the bench, according to the Steelers unofficial depth chart for Friday night. You got Cole Holcomb and Landon Roberts as your presumptive starters right now, but Kwon Alexander is already that first guy off the bench in this unit. You've also got Tanner Muse, Mark Robinson, Chappelle Russell, and Nick Kwiatkowski in this group. But Kwon is definitely somebody that brings the experience. He's very good in pass coverage. He's good in run defense. And he's been generally very impressive despite just being signed to this team. So let me know who you think is going to end up playing more this season. Do you think Landon Roberts holds on to that starting role? Or do you think Kwon Alexander kind of rises up the ranks as the season moves on? Let me know in the comment section by giving me an ER if you think Landon Roberts plays more, or if you think Kwon Alexander does, give me a KA. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show, so YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, answer today's pinned question. Then we got nose tackle here, Breiden Fehoko, who has been a real pleasant surprise for me coming into camp. You know, coming into camp this year, Breiden was somebody that I didn't have high expectations for. He didn't play all that well with the Los Angeles Chargers last season, but this year, man, he's really eating up space against the run. He's being very, very impressive in run defense. Right now, he's listed as the number 2 nose tackle to Montravius Adams, but man, if he outplays Montravius in these preseason games, it wouldn't shock me whatsoever to see Fehoko rise up the ranks there and become the starting nose tackle for week 1 when the black and gold play the 49ers there at Acrisure Stadium. He's been very impressive and a guy to watch throughout these preseason games. Then again, we return to the linebacker group here, to the number 1 guy in that room right now, and that's Cole Holcomb. The mullet in the middle has been absolutely phenomenal to this point in camp, particularly, and this is really encouraging, in pass coverage. Before with the Washington Commanders, he was kind of known more as like a true athlete, kind of a burner, somebody that can get sideline to sideline and make tackles, good blitzer as well. But he wasn't really somebody that was known for his pass coverage ability, but throughout camp to this point, multiple pass deflections. He's looking pretty good in zone coverage as well, and I'm definitely excited to see what he can do as the number 1 linebacker for the black and gold this season. Now, linebacker is probably the worst unit on the Steelers defense to this point. I really like the secondary. I really like the pass rush, but having a guy like Cole Holcomb in there, somebody that's I think is going to be a very good starter for the black and gold this year is absolutely important. I think he'll be a very crucial asset to Mike Tomlin and Terrell Austin's defense here in 2023. Now, if you missed my previous winners and losers video, if you think we're missing a couple players that you think are winners so far, they're probably on the other video. So I'm going to put the link to that video in the comments and description of today's show. Make sure to check that video out after we're done today to see Kenny Pickett, Patrick Peterson, all these other guys that are really doing well in camp as well. Then we get to number 5 on my list here, wide receiver Cody White. Cody played a lot on the practice squad last year, only had 1 catch for the Pittsburgh Steelers in the regular season last year, but he's really shown that he is willing and able to compete for a roster spot for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year, and he's had a couple days where he's been really, really impressive. Now, he is behind both Hakeem Butler and Miles Boykin on the Steelers' unofficial depth chart going into Friday, but he's definitely somebody that's been making some waves and definitely a guy you need to keep your eye on, because if he continues to play well here, he might even surpass Hakeem or maybe even Miles Boykin here towards the end of the preseason and make the final 53-man roster, because he does have some nice size that I really like. And then my man Madre Harper is also a winner of Steelers training camp to this point. And listen, the Corey Trice Jr. injury, the severe knee injury for Corey Trice, the rookie out of Purdue, was absolutely devastating. I was super excited to see him play, but it's really nice that you have a guy like Madre Harper on the roster that pretty much has the same exact build as Corey Trice. He's 6'1", 196 pounds, so he's got that size that you really look for. Really, really long arms as well. Really physical player. Good locker room guy. We did an interview with Madre a couple of weeks ago here on the show. I'm also going to put the link to that one in the comments and description of today's show. So you got 2 videos to check out after today's. Madre is a really great locker room presence, a great personality. He also brings you a little bit of something to special teams as well. So I'm super excited to see if he can make this final 53-man roster after the injury to Corey Trice Jr. And then we got Kendrick Green, the newest fan favorite of the Yinzers here, backup center / fullback now, and he's getting a ton of reps working with the running backs and individual drills at practice. And I think that Kendrick Green, whenever you go from like a bona fide bust to a bona fide fan favorite overnight, you are a big winner of training camp, in my opinion. I think he's going to get some sort of carry, especially in like those short area situations. Goal line, maybe he gets a touchdown on Friday. That would be freaking lit, man. I can't wait to see what they have in store for Kendrick Green. And who knows, man, a guy at his size, 315 pounds, a pretty decent athlete, he might not be so bad as an option as like the fridge option for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That would be absolutely awesome in my opinion. And then my last winner on my list today is Trey Norwood, backup safety. Now, Trey was somebody coming into camp that I thought could be a surprise cut candidate, because rookie season really showed some nice flashes, didn't play a ton, but he made some nice flash plays. And then last year, generally not very good in coverage. He did have 2 interceptions, which is nice, I guess. But overall, wasn't very good in coverage, had a lot of really bad lapses, gave up a lot of big plays. And with the safety depth that the Steelers have right now with Minka and DeMonte and Keanu now, and, Miles Killebrew's still here. Like, Trey was somebody that had to have a good camp to really prove that he deserved to be on this roster. And to this point, he's absolutely looked the part of a really good depth piece at free safety here. Just in case Minka Fitzpatrick goes down, God forbid, Trey is somebody that's played with the first team defense here while Minka was away, and he looked pretty darn good. So I think he's definitely a winner. At this point, I really do think he's a lock to make the final 53-man roster. Now, coming up here on the show, I'm going to be going over 4 losers from Steelers training camp, so you're not going to want to miss that. But first, let's have a word from our sponsor at Fanatics, and they're offering you guys this awesome Steelers t-shirt combo that you can get just in time for Week 1 when the Steelers play the 49ers there at Acrisure Stadium. Go to chatsports.com/Steelers combo. Really like that black short sleeve with the Steelers helmet, and I really like the forgiving long white sleeve t-shirt for those hot summer days. Really think this is a great combo for you guys, so take advantage of it right now. Use our link, chatsports.com/Steelers combo, to get this t-shirt combo in your closet today. My first loser here of Steelers training camp on this list is Nick Kwiatkowski. Newly signed linebacker, formerly with the Bears, spent a little time with the Falcons as well. Right now, he's listed as like the 7th linebacker on this list here, right? So you got Cole Holcomb and Landon Roberts. Then your backups are Kwon Alexander and Mark Robinson. Third stringers, Tanner Muse and Chappelle Russell. And then Nick Kwiatkowski is all the way off the list right now. He's not even on our graphic. And, I know that there's Nick's supporters out there. There's people that really like his game. But right now, it seems like the Steelers coaching staff aren't really digging what he's given them. Now, in the preseason games, he absolutely could show out this year, and if he does that, then he could work his way up the roster, up the depth chart, and make the final 53. But right now, it definitely seems like it's an uphill battle, and it's looking like he's at the bottom of the Steelers depth chart right now. Then another loser so far, we had Dan Moore Jr. on here. We have to put Broderick Jones as kind of a camp loser. Apparently, he just hasn't really taken to the coaching of pass protection right now. We said coming in, he was going to be pretty raw as a pass protector coming into his rookie season, and that has absolutely been the case to this point. And it's looking like Dan Moore Jr., who right now I would argue is the better pass protecting left tackle, is probably going to be the week 1 starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, would I have loved if Broderick came in and just was an awesome pass protector and he was the left tackle of the future that we all hope that he will one day be right away? Absolutely. I would have loved that, but that's just sometimes not the reality. Sometimes these cookies need a little bit more time in the oven in order to come out nice and delicious. And I hope that Broderick Jones is absolutely that coming into the future. He's going to need a little bit of coaching. I really do trust our coaching staff to coach this kid up. I think he's already going to be a great run blocker, and I do think at some point they're going to put this kid in whenever they feel like he's ready. Not sure that's going to be week 1 at this point, however, but I'm definitely excited to see how he does in these preseason matchups. Now, like today's video, if you want to help us out here at the Steelers Talk, we do a ton of work every single day to give you guys the best damn Steelers coverage for free here on YouTube. So if you want to help us out a little bit, go ahead and click that thumbs up icon right now. Number 3 loser on my list for today's show is Keanu Benton, another rookie, this time out of the University of Wisconsin. The second-round pick is pretty much buried on the Steelers' depth chart at this point, listed as the 3rd nose tackle behind both Montravius Adams and Breiden Fehoko. And Keanu is somebody that I'm a big believer in. I believe in the talent. I saw the stuff that he was able to do at Wisconsin, getting into the backfield, blowing up plays. 10 tackles for loss last year with the Badgers. Absolutely fantastic. And he's a bit raw as a pass rusher, but I think that he has the skill set. My comp for him coming out was Cameron Hayward. I think that with the coaching that the Steelers have here in Pittsburgh, I think that Benton, although right now is a little bit buried on the depth chart, and therefore that makes him a loser for this training camp to this point, I think eventually he's going to be a mainstay in the starting lineup for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I think he's going to end up being a really nice player in this league. And then, in my opinion, probably the biggest loser to this point is probably Jordan Byrd, the undrafted free agent out of San Diego State. Came into camp, and there was some buzz around him potentially being the number 1 punt returner for the Pittsburgh Steelers and potentially making the roster as that dynamic weapon on special teams. But right now he's listed as the 3rd-string punt returner behind both Calvin Austin III and Gunnar Olszewski. Right now they just list 3 punt returners on the depth chart right now. And, Jordan is somebody that if he makes a couple really nice plays in preseason, maybe he moves up that ladder. But it's looking like at this point, with everything that the Steelers coaching staff has already seen in minicamp and OTAs and now into training camp, and he's still the 3rd-string punt returner, it's starting to look like Jordan Byrd probably won't end up making this team. But let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Pick your return man on punts for the Pittsburgh Steelers here in 2023. Do you want Calvin Austin III, type CA? Do you want Gunnar Olszewski with those golden locks? Do you want to give me a GO for him? Or do you want Jordan Byrd, the undrafted free agent? Give me a JB if you want, the rookie out of San Diego State. And my pick for this, guys, is going to be Calvin Austin III. I think that he's a dynamic weapon in space. Of course, punt returning is something that he's done before and has had a lot of success at. And I think that that's really where he could find a really great role for himself on this team, because in those punt situations, you've got open space to work with, right? And right now, Allen Robinson II is going to get a lot of those reps in the slot. Now, I think that Calvin will get on the field quite a bit as that fourth wide receiver, maybe a rotation slot wide receiver type guy. But I really think that where he can make a true impact with this team could be special teams, and I think he could be truly special in that regard. That's going to be it for today's show, guys. Make sure you click that subscribe button for me right now. Again, we got the Steelers Talk Live show tomorrow. We got the live watch party for the preseason game on Friday. We got a bunch of great stuff coming your way. And then don't forget the free content we put up for you guys here on YouTube every single day. So if you want to become an expert on the 2023 Pittsburgh Steelers, this is the place for you. Click that subscribe button for me right now. That'll be it for me today, guys. Really do appreciate all the support. I'll see you guys later. And as always, here we go, Steelers.